What if I told you that it is no mere coincidence that the person who continues to occupy your thoughts, the one who reappears unexpectedly, might be thinking of you simultaneously? What if beneath the emotional turbulence you feel within your heart lies a quiet, divine message, an encrypted truth you have yet to decode? You may believe it's truly over. Perhaps you have even promised yourself you would move forward, yet there remains an intangible force, or rather, someone, who refuses to fade from your memory. This is not simply imagination. It could very well be Allah communicating with you. Stay attentive, because what follows may mark the inception of the very reunion your heart quietly yearns for. You are not alone. This reunion might have been predestined long before you realized. 1. The divine whisper amidst silence. When Allah communicates with the heart, silence can speak louder than words. There are moments when the external world appears calm, yet your heart resonates with an unmistakable echo, an inner vibration that demands attention. You go about your daily life, breathing and moving forward, yet a persistent, almost sacred thought returns. This person, this connection, this memory. Suddenly, without logical explanation, you experience a profound peace. Not restlessness, not dependence, but a serene sweetness, a veil unseen by others, gently placed over your heart. In this silence, Allah may be speaking to you. He does not need to shout or shake you to be understood. Often, He simply instills a unique sensation within your heart, an unmatched clarity, an unbidden light that you neither sought nor control. If this light guides you back to this person, perhaps it signals not merely a reunion of two individuals, but a divine reconnection with a destiny that Allah has meticulously orchestrated. Allah is Al-Latif, the subtle one, operating through the most invisible details, transforming hearts without their owners even realizing it. He plants reminders within the soul, revealing that what you believe to be concluded is still registered in the divine ledger. Maybe this bond isn't finished, not because you desire it, but because it remains alive in Allah's grand design. Perhaps this person also experiences the same silent shiver of the heart, the same noble longing, the same deep regret and yearning to rediscover what was lost, only this time with awareness, faith, humility, and meaningful intention. We must cultivate the ability to listen differently, to discern messages not through texts, calls, or human promises, but through the soul's whisper. That is where truth resides. That is where answers gently descend, like silent dew upon parched earth. When Allah desires to unite two souls, He begins by softening their hearts, not necessarily toward each other, but toward Himself. Returning to Him initiates the unveiling of truth. Allah is never absent from the narratives He authors. He is the eternal witness, the sustainer, and the master of time. Sometimes He permits time to erode falsehoods, only to revive what is pure, exactly when the soul is prepared. So if your heart gravitates toward this person, not with bitterness or pain, but with tranquility, understand that this may not signify weakness. Rather, it could represent an invitation, a gateway invisible to the world but recognized by your soul. Never forget, Allah whispers only when the heart is ready to listen. The test of separation. Mercy in disguise. You have pondered why Allah has placed a separation between you. You have prayed, wept, and reflected, only to find that the silence grows heavier with every question. Here is a vital truth. Separation is not always a punishment. In fact, it can be an act of divine mercy, a necessary intermission designed so that the bond may purification before restoration. When Allah separates two individuals, it is never without divine purpose. He understands what you do not, and the experiences you both undergo, the distance, the emptiness, the inward reflection, are integral components of a greater strategic plan. This process transcends mere love or a relationship. It is a profound spiritual education, a rigorous test, and an invitation to inner transformation. Allah seeks to understand what becomes of you when what you cherish is taken away. Do you lose your composure? Do you drift away from Him? Or do you return with increased humility, strengthened faith, and greater maturity? Before Allah grants the restoration of a relationship, He first observes your resilience when you have nothing left. He teaches that true attachment must originate from Him alone. Separation unveils truths that proximity often conceals. When circumstances are favorable, we deceive ourselves. We believe we control the relationship, overlook our shortcomings, and underestimate our blessings. But when distance intervenes, true intentions are exposed. Separation reveals whether your love was founded on faith or merely on need. It uncovers whether you were prepared to give or only eager to receive. Sometimes the one you love also requires this space, to rediscover the significance of your presence and to address their own wounds and neglect. This period apart enables both parties to confront themselves honestly, without distractions, masks, or illusions. Therefore, if today this person seeks to return, do not rush nor dismiss the possibility without reflection. Ask yourself, who have I become through this separation? Have I grown? Am I more peaceful, closer to Allah, and more enlightened? And equally ask, who is this person now? Is their return a fleeting impulse or a genuine spiritual awakening? If Allah has separated you, it may be because He intends to renew you both, to reunite you in a more noble, stable, and spiritually enriched manner. Many desire love. Few are willing to accept the responsibility it entails. Allah does not entrust anyone to just anyone. He grants according to one's readiness, their heart, their intentions. He expects you to be prepared to safeguard what you seek. A relationship cannot be protected without discipline, faith, and clarity. You cannot receive a heart if yours remains unsettled. That is why He separates and why He tests your patience, with love, preparation, and the vision to reunite you both as better, more complete individuals. Hence, the question is no longer, why did Allah separate us? The real inquiry is, have we become worthy of reunion in His sight? Divine guidance in return. Returning is never a matter of chance. It is a manifestation of divine guidance. Whatever returns to your life after separation does not do so randomly. It is not mere fate or a simple emotional impulse. When Allah permits a reunion, it is with intention. He does not toy with souls or reawaken connections without purpose. Instead, He builds, prepares, and guides. Many assume reunion stems solely from nostalgia, but Allah transcends emotion. He is Al-Hakim, the All-Wise, and His wisdom never reopens doors without first reforming what requires transformation. If this person returns, it may not be to fill an emotional void. Rather, it could be an answer to your heartfelt prayers, a culmination of a long process during which Allah individually refined your hearts to reunite them in harmony. It may serve as a divine reminder that He never forgets those who place their trust in Him. However, exercise discernment. Some returns are illusions, not divine responses. Thus, it is critical to ask the right question. Does this return bring me closer to Allah, or does it lead me away from Him? If this person returns with humility, genuine commitment to righteousness, sincerity, lawful intentions, and a heart willing to seek forgiveness and align with your spiritual journey, then this is not merely a reconnection. It is divine guidance, an exclusive path authored by Allah. And if your heart embraces this return with peace and clarity, then it signifies the manifestation of a higher purpose. If your heart no longer quivers with doubt, but instead resonates with clear, lucid hope, then you recognize that this is not merely a sentimental return. It is divine guidance. It is a compass the Creator has placed within your soul. There are signs, subtle and often invisible, not miracles in the conventional sense, but profound interconnections. Conversations that awaken the spirit, simple yet sincere gestures, reassuring silences, and glances that convey the fulfillment of every prayer you have directed toward Allah, now manifesting tangibly in human form. Never underestimate Allah's language. He does not communicate solely through words. He speaks through the tranquility you experience in that person's presence, through the natural ease with which circumstances align, and through the calm your heart attains instead of unrest. If you were lost and their return brought you back to prayer, if you were burdened by doubt and their voice rekindled your confidence, if you had abandoned certain invocations and now witnessed their living embodiment in this reunion, do not doubt. This is no coincidence. It is Allah's response. Even if fear assails you or your past warns caution, understand this. Allah does not desire to take you back to where you were. He intends to propel you forward, armed with the right tools, accompanied by the right souls, and surrounded by the right hearts. Some people are temporarily removed from your life to be restored with greater purpose. They are refined apart from you so that they may contribute to your growth when reunited. Do not fixate on whether you deserve this return. Instead, ask yourself the critical question: am I ready to welcome a return that comes from Allah, not from my ego? Because when Allah reunites two souls, it is not merely to fill a void, but to elevate both toward Him, recognizing the signs of divine confirmation. When Allah gently confirms, you have not imagined it, nor fabricated this peace. What you experience is neither romantic illusion nor random coincidence. There are hidden signs in the return of certain people, spiritual threads intricately woven by Allah, each one a testament to His work. These are rarely spectacular miracles or black and white certainties. Rather, they are subtle, gentle whispers. If you learn to listen with your heart and observe with your soul, you will begin to see, understand, and know. Notice the small changes. Has your heart ceased struggling and resisting this presence? Has it opened instead with serenity? Does this person return not with confusion or haste, but with calm and clarity? And do you, in turn, make your prayers not from fear, but with hopeful submission? Not impulsively, but with intentional surrender? These are unmistakable signs. You may think you pray just in case, but sometimes your soul prays because it already knows. This return is a divinely appointed direction. You might perceive your conversations as simply mature dialogue. However, such sudden maturity often reflects a transformation Allah has quietly cultivated in the other person's heart, far removed from your view. Allah confirms softly, never loudly. His answers are woven into the details. You had lost hope, yet this unexpected encounter occurred. You had stopped envisioning a future together, but now conversations are marked by modesty and conviction. You feared meeting that gaze again, but when it happened, your heart did not falter with pain. It found calm. Do you truly believe such alignments are mere coincidences? Number. They are divine signatures. It is Allah who reconfigures plans, moves hearts, softens souls, and draws invisible lines to say, "Look, I am working." There are also dreams, not always clear or lucid, that leave an impression, a lingering feeling. When you speak of these dreams, even without full understanding, the other person's words resonate with confirmation. And then there is this ease, not perfection, but authenticity. It's not that everything is effortless. Rather, the forbidden no longer entices you, and what is permissible becomes your true desire. When this person speaks of serious intentions rooted in patience and commitment, when this return is underpinned by sincere intentions, commitment, patience, and a foundation grounded in Allah's guidance, it transcends mere words. It is a fundamental reorientation, a conscious decision to transform the relationship into an act of worship rather than a distraction. This is the most profound sign. The return is spiritual before it is emotional. It represents not just a desire to be together, but a shared aspiration to evolve together toward the one who separated you and now reunites you. However, remain vigilant. This path is delicate and false signals abound. Emotions can mislead. The shaitan can mimic nostalgia. Therefore, human certainty must never be your goal. Instead, seek the inner peace that only Allah bestows. If this peace endures despite doubts and challenges, you are receiving a quiet confirmation. Allah never deceives in His promises. He does not plant pure feelings in your heart to later shatter them. He does not allow sincere reunions to become sources of pain. Instead, He rebuilds with purpose, reunites with wisdom, and confirms with gentleness. Stay alert, stay connected, and remain in supplication, because perhaps you are already within His answer. You may already be part of His divine plan. The responsibility of restored love. So here it is. This person is returning, perhaps not with grand gestures or loud declarations, but their return is evident. in their efforts, in the way they communicate, in their sincere desire to reconcile and rebuild what was left unfinished. Yet the real question is not whether they want to come back. The true question is, are you ready to embrace this restoration? Restored love is not a romantic ideal, it is a spiritual responsibility. Allah has granted you a renewed opportunity, but this opportunity must not become a repetitive cycle where old mistakes are temporarily paused before resurfacing again. This return is a test, a call to maturity, a signal from Allah that says, "Now that I have answered your prayer, what will you do with this gift?" You desired to be chosen, to have others return to you, to be seen through new eyes. This has been granted. Now prove that you are not the same person, that you are ready to build anew, not replay the same patterns, conflicts, or silences. Love in Islam is a sacred contract. It is protected and designed to bring you closer to Allah, not to entangle you in ego or illusion. It is time to act. Action steps to sustain restored love. 1. Lay the foundations. Have you discussed your relationship with Allah openly? Do you know how to pray together? Or at the very least, pray for one another. Love severed from its divine source is often brilliant but fleeting. To ensure durability, place Allah at the center, not as a backdrop but as an active guide. 2. Clarify your intentions. No ambiguity, no we'll see. Vagueness is rarely a sign of true love. It often breeds doubt, failure, and forbidden paths. A serious return carries serious plans. Talk about the future, about building a life rooted in halal foundations, because that is what protects your bond. Without this, it is not a return. It is a toxic cycle. 3. Honor boundaries. Authentic love respects boundaries. It does not burn them. Understand that Allah has set these limits to preserve the blessing. Words, gestures, and promises must align with modesty and responsibility. When you lead by example, Allah bestows His barakah upon your conduct. 4. Face the past. Do not run from past wounds. Though they leave marks, they must not dictate your future. Speak openly, listen earnestly, seek forgiveness, and offer it freely. Genuine forgiveness is the key to reopening hearts. Allah loves those who forgive, repair, and build upon their experiences. 5. Act with gratitude. Recognize that this return is not your achievement alone. It is Allah who softened the other's heart and aligned the circumstances. Demonstrate your gratitude by honoring this divine gift with patience, wisdom, and humility. Be consciously aware of this divine gift. Pray with gratitude, give thanks sincerely, and above all, conduct yourself as one who has been entrusted with something invaluable, not as someone merely replaying an old narrative. Allah draws hearts closer, yet it is the hearts themselves that must nurture and sustain the bond. Your actions moving forward constitute your response to His act of mercy. You may choose to remain passive, risking the loss of all once again, or you may embrace an active role, honoring the return Allah has graciously made possible. Do not waver in lukewarmness. Do not allow distractions to divert your focus. Be fully present, aligned, and conscious. Allah has heard your prayers and has spoken to you. Now the responsibility lies with you to respond through your actions. If this message resonates within you, it is no coincidence. Allah employs reminders, emotions, signs, and sometimes even the simplest mediums to reach hearts prepared to listen. This return you sense, the person who seeks to come back, is not merely a love story. It may well be a divine response, a sacred reminder that what Allah unites cannot be undone by time or distance. Yet always remember, while Allah brings hearts together, it is your responsibility to preserve and rebuild that connection with faith, wisdom, and sincerity. If you believe someone else could benefit from this message, share it. Save it as a beacon to revisit during moments of uncertainty. And if you too feel that this is not the end but perhaps only the beginning, leave your thoughts below.